Cooper High School, a key Tri-Metro Conference girls basketball game here tonight as the Hawks play host to the DeLaSalle Islanders in a game that'll have a lot to say about who wins the Tri-Metro this year. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Patty Sorensen. And Patty, first time around, Cooper got a victory over on the island, beat DeLaSalle. That's the only conference loss for this very young and talented DeLaSalle team. Very interesting to see what adjustments both teams have made now for round two.
Yeah, you know, I think the first time they played, it was early on in the season. They both have gotten plenty of games in, gotten their kids to understand the philosophies they want this season. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out tonight.
Pretty big bounce back year for Cooper. They only won 6 games all of last season, and they've generally been a pretty good program. So that was maybe a little bit of an anomaly, but still, they have to like the way they've come back, 14-4 overall. Couple of conference losses lately in low-scoring games, so I think they would definitely like to see this game at a little bit more of a scoring game as compared to their losses that they had to Holy Angels and Visitation.
Right, I think so too. I think what Coach is trying to get them to do is to keep playing in their system, keep looking at the shots they can get, make people play D on them, and see what they can bring.
Let's talk about key players to look at in tonight's contest. As we said, a very young DeLaSalle team. A sophomore guard is a very dynamic player for them, Anisha Scott.
Yeah, you know, she's fun to watch. She's very poised, very even keel. She can attack, she can feed, she plays tough defense, a floor leader, and like you said, at such a young age, it's one of those other kids we've talked about before. It's hard to believe she's as young as she is because she plays very well.
And for Cooper, we're going to talk about a talented junior, Soma Kamara. And one thing that opponents find out, you better be careful with the ball when Soma's around.
Oh, definitely. She leads in steals. She's one of the top steal leaders in the state. She's aggressive that way. She's another one that they look to feed off her tempo and what she brings to the team.
Sounds like Cooper in the first meeting kind of had the better of things inside. And I know the DeLaSalle coaches talked about that as one thing that definitely has to change, that we can't let them dominate the paint.
Exactly, and that was their strength, is the inside, and you know, they have that advantage, and they also are taking advantage of the outside, but DeLaSalle, they said they really needed to focus on that a little more.
Couple of key games in the league tonight, this one, and then also Visitation and Holy Angels are meeting. Those are the top 4 in the conference right now as we head down the home stretch of the regular season. And DeLaSalle, they kind of control their destiny if they can win this one tonight. Cooper, though, would love nothing more than to get a sweep of the Islanders. Stay tuned, it's DeLaSalle Cooper girls basketball up next here on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Welcome back here to Cooper as the starters being introduced to the crowd here this evening. We did actually a DeLaSalle Cooper boys game earlier, and I said at the time, and I feel like in girls too, chance to be a pretty nice little rivalry in this new conference for Cooper with DeLaSalle. I mean, a pretty good basketball tradition at both schools for girls and boys, and I think it'll be some good matchups going forward.
You know, I think I agree. I think it's going to be fun to watch, and it just changes, and they have been good rivalries. And this is their first year, Cooper in the conference with DeLaSalle and the others. So, yeah, I think this will be fun and create some more rivalries for everybody.
And full disclosure, Patty's daughter Keely is the activities director at DeLaSalle High School as well. So you're a little more close to that program than maybe would have been thought just from your Park Center experience.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch and be able to watch both my girls do what they do and be able to watch the teams they both work with. It's a fun, proud mom moment.
There's a look at the starters: Maya McNeil, Anisha Scott, Madeline Blaylar, Taylor Starks, and Jordan Johnson. 4 sophomores and a freshman starting for DeLaSalle. And Cooper, relatively young too, although not quite that young. Bree Frazier, Soma Kamara, Zoe Simmons, a freshman. Vanessa Seydoux came over from Park Center, and Zayara Turner-Stensrud. Seydoux easily wins the tip, and we are underway as Cooper gets first possession. Seydoux put it on the deck, then kicks it off, and back out at top comes Kamara. They keep it rotating. Turner-Stensrud, a little runner, wouldn't drop, and the rebound grabbed there by Johnson.
You know, and that's the one thing that Coach Fassett said. They had to do a better job on the boards tonight. That really hurt him, he said, in the last game, and they came up with a nice rebound right there.
And, you know, over and back as the throw to the top there was a little high for Scott. She kept it from being a steal, but knew that was going to be an over and back, so Cooper able to force a turnover here. Seydoux driving it. Layup rolls off, though, and Johnson grabs the rebound. Boy, Seydoux is long and athletic.
You know, she's so talented. I mean, you're right, and you get that wingspan. I always talk about kids' wingspans. Don't count that out. She's really good with that and deflections and getting in there.
It's over to do a story with the Hawks about a week ago and watching her in practice, and she's doing layups where she's putting the ball up high on the glass. You know, not a ton of girls that you see that able to have that kind of reach and jumping ability there where she's really up there around the rim.
And it's fun to see when our posts, you know, there's still so many young posts that they keep bringing the ball down or they don't use the advantage of that glass, and it's fun to see when they take good advantage of it.
Here's Johnson with the hook shot, no good, and Seydoux the rebound. Throw ahead here, Kamara kick it back out. She looks to attack here, but it was blocked. It'll stay Cooper ball. Kamara goes down hard. Johnson helps her up. And knocked away as they tried to get it snuck through there to Turner-Stensrud. Still no score on the board here. We're about a minute and a half in. Zoe Simmons giving it up to Seydoux. Seydoux attacking, and this time was fouled by Jordan Johnson. I think it's pretty clear early on that's going to be an interesting and fun and impactful matchup tonight.
Well, and it's nice that Vanessa is back in. I mean, she missed several games earlier in the season with an injury, and they say she's doing much better now. So I think it's going to be fun to see those two go at each other and how they each handle their opponent's strengths.
Seydoux missing on that first free throw. One more coming here. And in and out on that one. So we stay scoreless here. Maybe a little bit of nerves early on here for these teams as well. And we're going to get a foul call there. Frazier thought that they just lost it, but she's going to be whistled for the personal. Blaylark will inbound here for the Islanders. Going to go into Johnson, but Seydoux poked it away. Throw ahead to Simmons and then way to the corner, but it's out of bounds as Frazier tried to save that one. I like the idea, but the execution just a little off.
Exactly.
Ariana Meister coming in number 24 for DeLaSalle, and coming in for Cooper is Pauline McCarthy, number 23. Tough shot on the run there, wouldn't drop for Blaylark, and now we get a foul. And the free throws upcoming for the Islanders is Frazier. Unfortunately, that's going to be 2 in a row on her. And the look on her face says it all right there.
Yeah. It's like so frustrating for her. I can see that. It's like, you know, she's playing aggressive. She's in there and she's working, and it's tough when it's this soon in the game and you got to go sit down.
Meister misses the free throw, so we stay scoreless. In for Cooper, Lyric Singleton, freshman checking in. Frazier, unfortunately, he'll probably have to sit for a while. Maybe not the whole half, but 2 early fouls there. We finally get our first point as Meister knocks it down. 1-0 DeLaSalle.
You know, I think both teams need to, you know, they both know a little bit where they're sitting in conference and playing, but they both have to just settle down and play ball. I need to get rid of the nerves. And
that was not what Cooper was hoping for there, as they commit an over and back violation, as DeLaSalle did earlier.
I'm sure both coaches are a little frustrated with some of the turnovers and some of the things happening right now, but I'm expecting both teams will settle in here.
Coach Fassett from DeLaSalle was kind of joking about it. Said they're so young, you know, I don't know if they know how important it is for the conference or not. Follow-up try wouldn't go there for McNeil, but they'll get another crack at it. McNeil, a step back three, in and out. And it'll go out of bounds off of DeLaSalle. There's a look at Coach Fassett, who's coached a variety of spots now, third season at DeLaSalle.
DeLaSalle made some substitution there, switching up their defenses a little bit.
Oh, Kamara had a nice drive, but misses on the layup. So Islanders basketball, Cooper does get a chance to set up their pressure, but everything but the finish that time for Kamara. And there's a takeaway for the Hawks. Singleton now coming back. Left-hand layup wouldn't go.
It's like there's a lid on the basket for both teams.
Scott, nice pass inside, but shot wouldn't fall there for Starks. He kind of shied away from contact a little bit there, it looked like.
And you see both teams are being very aggressive defensively right now and not letting, you know, either team find their groove, which is what both coaches want right now. They want them to step up the defense, let their defense dictate what's going to happen.
There's a look at Raheem Simmons in his fourth season. He brings Sadhu back in after a short rest. Kamara will check out. Pass deflected, but now they do get it front court. And nice hands. Let's see, it's going to be out off Cooper, but two deflections by Pauline McCarthy hustling back in. If you like defense, it's been a good start to the game. If you like offense, not so much. And there's an open three made by Scott. They kind of, you know, dared her to go left there. They're really shading her to keep her to that side of the floor, but maybe allowed a little too much space for her.
Well, and she's the kind of athlete that can be very dangerous, too.
There's Sadhu with a nice drive. First basket for Cooper. Out of bounds off of Singleton. Now Kamara will check back in here for Cooper, and McCarthy checking out. Both teams kind of getting their full rotations in. Look at that nice baseline move and finish there by Sadhu.
Vanessa does a good job of taking care of the ball in that move.
In and out there for Scott. Now Kamara looking to push it back. Four to 2 DeLaSalle lead, as both teams pretty cold offensively to start it out, and have made some turnovers that they would like to have back as well. From the top, and that one is rattled home by Kamara.
That was nice patience by Cooper. They just kept moving the ball, looking for the shot they want, and she did a great job.
And that pass getting away off the hands of Starks. Estelle Bass's pass just a little bit too high. Sadhu coming up to the high post here. Spinning to the middle, but wide left with that one. In and out on the three attempt there, and rebound knocked out of bounds by Nature there as she came over Sadhu. Have to wonder a little bit with we saw her check out earlier with Vanessa Sadu. Conditioning-wise, when you're in the middle of the season and you have to sit for a little while like that, it doesn't take long before you feel like your conditioning kind of goes away, and I'm sure they've probably kind of had to work her back in smaller spurts of playing time.
I'm sure, and you know, I'm sure they probably put her on a bike a lot. I think that she could have done that, doing some low impact things. But I think too, the difference of bike and running up and down.
Turnover here. Bass keeps her feet under control and gets the layup as the defenders fly by and the Islanders are back in front.
Bass did a good job on that when she heard both of them coming, and she kept her presence to let them go by.
Simmons has to track it down here. Sadu will turn and face, and it bounces and drops. It's a long 2 for Vanessa Sadu. Her second bucket. Cooper back in front. And that pass is thrown away as they try to come way across to Bass. Another look at that pass actually off Kamara's knee, and then watch Estelle Bass, who is a golfer too for you, right?
Yes.
In the spring?
Yes, she plays on the girls golf team also.
Patty, the Islanders coach for girls golf. Estelle stopped by and talked to us and giving you a hard time about what do you work at Cooper now and that kind of thing.
Yeah, she gave me a hard time on Saturday too, because Saturday they played Champlin and Holly coaches at Champlin, and she's
shot was blocked, so Cooper will keep possession as you see Kamara and Johnson getting over to help out, getting that block. Lyric Singleton cut off. And the 3 won't go. Johnson grabbing the rebound. The Islanders come back the other way. And that went off the side of the backboard and rebounded by Singleton. As McNeil tried to bowl her way to the hoop. She saw Simmons on her, who wasn't very big, and just kind of tried to push her way past. Kamara with the floater, and that one's good.
high off there. DeLaSalle's struggling a little bit with breaking their press, Cooper's press right now, and that's Cooper's advantage right now.
Turner Stensford gets an easy 2 after they get the steal, so now 11-6 Cooper. And there's another deflection, but they get it inside to Johnson. Almost traveled, but kept that pivot foot down and gets her first basket.
You know, and I think that's something that DeLaSalle's going to need to be more productive on, is having her score a little more so that it opens some of their other options and drives.
Kamara, a little pull up. That one's in and out. I thought Coach Fass said it was very interesting what he had to say about how the players around her have learned to work with her and trusting that the ball, if you throw it inside, isn't always going to be a shot, and just working together. Here's Kamara driving and draws the foul. He did not get it to go, but will go to the free throw line. Another look here as they're able to force her into a tough spot here, and then Scott picked it up, tried to pass out of the double. And I like the way Turner Stenser just went right up with that one too. He didn't need an extra dribble. And then here's a look as Kamara saw the defender coming and kind of went sideways at her there.
Drew the foul on it.
So look at the top 3 scores there for Cooper, including Kamara, and makes the free throw here. She has 6 points nearly going here for the Hawks. Sadu reporting back in. Second free throw misses, but Sadu quick off her feet to grab that offensive rebound. Oops, but then the throw inside was too high and Johnson intercepts. DeLaSalle down by 4 as they hit the front court. And that one well off target there from McNeil. And it'll be Cooper ball. They'll sub in for McNeil as Blaylark comes back in. And Lyric Singleton back in. Both teams pretty much subbing on every whistle here.
Yeah, it seems to be, you know, I think both coaches are trying to get their flow and get the kids in a groove, but they're a lot of in and out right now.
Islanders in that 2-3, picking up out pretty high. Cooper was talking last week when I visited them about how they're seeing a lot more zones of late, and they've got to figure out better ways to attack it. Bass running that lob into Johnson, no good. And rebound grab by McCarthy. Kamara was fouled as she tried to sidestep the defender there. Blaylark, I think, will pick it up.
And Cooper's doing a great job on the defensive boards, and even the pressure. Anytime the ball's coming inside, they're definitely collapsing on Jordan in there, and then hitting the boards hard.
Kamara's free throw is good. Hawks lead it by 5. Second one is also good, so Kamara, after their whole team had a slow start, she now is up to 8 points. And it's 14-8. We're going to get a foul in the backcourt on Seydoux. Jordan Cook, number 30, is in for Cooper, and also back in is Simmons. Another look there as Seydoux getting her leg out of there a little bit into Scott. Bass driving and partially blocked. Simmons into the front court now for Cooper. Here's Seydoux looking to drive it down that baseline, but no good. Johnson got over to bother it. Seydoux then almost with the steal. Oh, it's going to be a foul on Seydoux as she knocked into Scott, so that'll be her second foul.
She's very active down there, and she's playing aggressive, and on their press, she was leading on the press and getting involved in the trapping, but she just kind of pushed her away, it looked like, right there a little bit.
So Seydoux will check out here with that second foul. And a good deep post position there, and Taylor Starks quickly puts it off the glass and good. No wasted movement there, I like that. Johnson got her hand on that. Kamara will get it back out to Simmons. Hawks leading it by 4, trying to get a season sweep of the Islanders and really put themselves in good position to fight for the conference title if they can win this one. Kamara will launch that one, and it's good for 3.
Kamara's done a great job of getting in spaces, being patient, and really looking when the shot's open and taking it.
Scott falls down. Fortunate for her, able to bank it off of Singleton's leg there. I think that's one thing that I noticed in seeing Cooper earlier, too, is that they're a little bit better at this year. Is they've got some people who can knock down threes. I mean, a lot of times teams will say, well, we don't want to give up offensive rebounds and layups to them, so we'll dare them to shoot from the outside. But they can make threes.
And that's important. They've been able to hit the 3, and then they've also got the people they can get inside to or that are attacking the bucket.
Johnson spins, missed it, but was fouled by Cook. Nice when you have a player that can, a post player that can go, either direction with that shot. Johnson, I think, definitely fooled Cook a little bit by spinning back left. You see what Johnson's done, and in and out with that free throw.
Well, and it's fun to watch Johnson. I mean, again, it's another sophomore you're talking about, but you're watching her movements and the moves she's making, and just see her progress and her future. She's going to keep working. Her future looks pretty bright.
Cooper's lead stays at 7 as Johnson misses both free throws. And then a foul as Bass tried to split between the double team there. She almost had a double dribble. It was hard to tell. I think the defender must have got a piece of it, though, in between. And Turner Stensrud will be called for that foul. So one more and they'll be in the bonus. That was team foul number 6 against Cooper.
And that sometimes happens when you have teams that play aggressive, try to trap, try to steal a lot. They tend to pick up a few more fouls.
Lob into Johnson, left-hand hook, no good. Turner Stensrud the rebound.
there's where she should have, taken advantage of the backboard. She had a good positioning. She made the good step to turn.
Baseline jumper won't go. Cook, though, grabs the offensive board and then flips it up. Little reverse layup, wouldn't drop. Scott, nice up and under, but still a partial block by Turner Stensrud. And then a great save, and here come the Hawks. Too hard on the layup attempt there with Singleton.
And the Hawks are still aggressive in the backcourt, so they're attacking, make or miss, they're attacking them in the backcourt.
Oh, and a nice block there by Singleton as Bass couldn't get that shot away. Not a lot of times you see a three-pointer blocked like that and cleanly. Try to go inside. Cook knocking that one away as posting up there was Mature. And you can see that DeLaSalle is, kind of emphasized, like, if they're going to be playing behind you on the post, we've got to work it inside a little bit. Obviously, I think it's more of an advantage when you got Jordan Johnson in there. She wasn't that time, but.
Well, and I think, too, as you're feeding the post, the kids got to realize that sometimes you need a little more of a fake and sometimes the bounce pass, stepping around the bounce pass into them, just a variety of ways to feed. And if you're doing the same thing, that makes it easier for the defender.
Also, angles in terms of where you're catching the ball matters, too. We've seen a couple times where they were maybe down a little lower than you'd like, so they didn't really have an angle to use the glass anymore.
The kids used to always... One thing I had to work with kids on, sometimes they wanted to post up below that block, and it's like, no, you got to get above the block, even get closer to the first hash so you have the room to seal your person and then go up and you have room. Draw the foul, use the backboard. But too many times they've got themselves, like you said, pushed down too low, and then they make their move and they don't have the right angle for a shot or the right angle to get a good feed.
After both teams started very slowly offensively, we've got a 17-10 Cooper lead. About 6 minutes to go here in this first half. One thing Cooper has to keep an eye on, though, we got Bree Frazier got those two very early fouls and hasn't been back in, and then Seydoux picked up two in a span of about 30 seconds. So overall, they're not too foul-ridden with 6, but the fact that two of your better players each have 2 is something to at least keep an eye on.
Yeah, that's kind of concerning. But this is also the good opportunity. How deep are we? Who's next person up?
Meister missing on that left-hand hook. Simmons calling for the ball. She's open for a 3 and she hits. Zoe Simmons popping a 3 there for Cooper. 20-10. Nice rebound by McNeil after the miss. And then Meister is fouled as she tried to get that ball out of there. Call's going to go against Isabella Davison, number 10 for Cooper. And so this will be 1-1 now for Ariana Meister. No good, and Cook wins the battle for the rebound. So the Islanders have not been good from the line. They haven't been there a lot, but just 1 out of 5.
That hurts when a game like this, when you need those free throws to go down.
Davison has to be careful of that 5 count. Yep, there it is, 5-second violation. I don't think she realized that they never broke the count, that she hadn't penetrated that ball forward enough to restart the count. Scott into the front court, now getting it over to Bass. Little driving dish. McNeil, though, missing inside. They've had quite a few misses from 5 feet and in this first half. Travel call there on Lyric Singleton.
Well, and I looked where she was on the floor after we just talked about it, and she got herself pretty low again, and they're rushing their shots. They're panicking a little bit on the shots, or just take your time and use the backboard. But credit Cooper's defense. They are causing a lot of chaos out there.
There's a deflection, but it gets there. Ooh, and then Cook falls down on start. She was anticipating going for a shot block there. Obviously not intentional, but landed awkwardly on her there. Oof, ouch. Cook will check out. Pauline McCarthy back in. Turner Stensrud also back in here for Cooper as Taylor Starks heading to the free throw line here. And again, DeLaSalle, they've left some points out there by not being able to make free throws. This one is good. And only can get 1 out of 2.
Many times you look back at a game and at the end of the game and you take a look at those free throws that you've missed, and it's like, those are game changers for them.
Kamara driving it here. It's going to be an offensive foul. Good help defense there. Kamara, I think, saw that, they were trying to draw a charge. She tried to sidestep it a little bit, but didn't quite do it enough, and Scott took the charge. Jordan Johnson back in now for DeLaSalle. They've really, they were stuck on 10 for a long time. Got that one free throw, but boy, they just haven't been able to get things going offensively. And this is going to be a foul before it was even inbounded on Davison. So now we'll go free throws at the other end. She was trying to deny the pass in. Got a little too much body in there.
Well, and you can see they're trying to keep the ball out of Scott's hands and double teaming her, and as she was going for the ball, she actually got a little bit of a shove there.
She's got that 1 3-pointer to go, but they've done a pretty good job keeping her quiet early on. It's this free throw in.
Well, and like Coach Fassett said, he really needs Scott to get going because the team feeds off of her. Defensively, offensively.
And just 1 out of 2 as their struggles at the line continue. 20-12 Cooper as Simmons sends it ahead. McCarthy back out. Kamara drives and kicks. Turner Stensrud knocking down a 3, and there's what I talked about. Overall as a team, not just 1 or 2 players, they've got a little better shooting attack than they had last year.
Yes, they do. And they're a little older. They're used to the coach's system, and their confidence right now.
Another look at drawing the defenders to her. Good job to get that pass out of there just the right time, too, and Turner Stensrud had her feet set, ready to go.
That's what's nice when you have a player like that. It's like they don't have to all of a sudden reset, dribble. It's a catch and shoot.
And it makes you a lot more willing to throw that pass, too, when you know that they're going to be ready to shoot like that.
Exactly,
Couple of turnovers in a row, though, for Cooper as they've tried to push the ball up court, and in both cases, making rather unforced errors there. Scott working it into the front court here. It's been a good defensive half for Cooper. They lead 23-12. Off target there from McNeil. Scramble for it. Tie up. No ball will go DeLaSalle's way here. I think Coach Simmons would like to get Sadu and Frazier to the second half with still 2 fouls, not have to use them again.
Well, and right now they're in a good spot where if they just continue and get good possessions, they should be able to wait till the second half for them.
Jordan Johnson trying to pull her way in there, but missed the left-hand little short shot. Singleton driving, misses, but was fouled. Just the 4th foul on DeLaSalle. Scott's going to pick it up, so Singleton will head to the free throw line here. I think back at this end, I think Johnson's eyes kind of light up whenever Sadhu's not in there to be defending her, and she thought, I'm going to take it right at the hoop, but not able to get herself angled up nice to score that one. First bench point of the game for Cooper right there, that free throw by Singleton. And makes a pair. So 25-12, the lead back to 13 now for Cooper.
Cooper's running a little bit of their own zone now.
And McNeil knocks this one down. She's not been shy about firing them up from outside, and finally gets her first one to go. Big basket for DeLaSalle. They're back within 10. McCarthy looking to drive it, and her pass was stolen. McNeil, we get a foul. Raheem Simmons didn't think so. And I have to admit, from here it looked rather clean as well, but that's not the way they see it, and Singleton will pick up the foul. See on the little crossover there.
Well, they're bringing Vanessa back in the game now, too.
Figuring maybe on the offensive end, not quite as likely to pick up a foul, perhaps. Frazier back in as well. Boy, she's been sitting for a long time.
Personally, I'd be a little nervous about that. I mean, you got a minute 33 in the half. You lead by, almost 10 points. Just don't pick it up now, right?
Sadhu back out to Frazier. Sadhu in between a double team, a little step back out, and it's way off though. Coach Simmons, I think, saying we need you attacking more there. That's kind of settling for that one.
Yeah, she has a good, quick first step. She's got to take advantage of and get to the bucket, attack it. But the other thing is she can shoot that shot, and she can make that shot quite often.
Under a minute to play now, a deflection and a steal. Then Singleton had it knocked away, but saved right to her. And that'll be, a layup for Sadhu. She missed, but then gets another crack at it and gets the second one to go. 11-point lead for Cooper. Down to 40 seconds to go in the half.
Referee almost got in the way right there.
McNeil launching another one, no good.
Cooper is definitely winning the rebounding edge there.
Frazier the miss, and Sadhu winds up with it, had it partially blocked, and the Islanders will come out of there with it. And a turnover. Cooper might get another crack late here. Instead, they turn it over. No good. Scott's putback, I don't think will count. Well, let's see.
They counted it.
Looks like they are going to count it for Scott. Just got that one to go right at the end. So we reached the halfway point here, and overall a pretty good first half here for Cooper. And they will lead it 27-16 here at halftime. Now they do put it to 18. Yes, they do count that hoop. So 27-18 Hawks at halftime here. We'll be back with first half highlights and stats, and then our second half of basketball. Good Tri-Metro girls battle here on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
9-point halftime lead for Cooper here over DeLaSalle as they try and really make this Tri-Metro race interesting here if they could get the season sweep of the Islanders. As we check out some highlights from the first half, a very slow start offensively this one. Then it picked up a little bit, but both teams really struggled to score in the opening minutes. Scott left open and popped a three, but they've done a pretty good job on her overall. Kamara had a pretty good first half here for Cooper as knocked down that three from the top. Then a turnover, though, leads to points the other way as Estelle Bass getting the layup here for DeLaSalle. Both teams have had trouble taking care of the ball some tonight. Probably DeLaSalle even more so as Cooper's pressure has bothered them. And we see evidence of that coming up right here as Scott had to pick up the dribble and then trying to throw out of a double. Cooper's got some length, they've got some quickness too, and out in front of that press. And Kamara getting another three to go there. They had 4 threes overall in the first half. And there's a nice block coming from there at Singleton. Turner Stensrud spotting up and burying a three. She had a pretty good half with 5 points. As you see the scoring, Scott with 6 leading DeLaSalle. Now they're still within range, but definitely not as good of a first half offensively as they would have liked to seen. And for Cooper, Kamara with 11. Sadhu had a little bit of foul trouble, had 6 points, and Turner Stensrud with 5. We'll take a timeout. We will come back. Always interesting to see what adjustments each of these teams make heading into half number 2. A good start, though, for Cooper. They lead at 27-18 here at halftime. Cooper up by 9 as we get into half number 2 here. Hawks will have the basketball to begin this half. And the good news for them, too, is they did make it to halftime with Sadhu and Frazier still at 2 fouls. So that part's good. They should be all good to go here as much as needed for this second half. Sadhu driving it right at Johnson, hit the bottom of the backboard, gets it back, and is fouled.
Well, and that's one of the things I think Coach was talking to her about, because even during the first half, he was attack the basket, attacker. And Jordan did a good job of playing D there, but got her when she got her rebound and came back the other way.
Johnson thought she was okay on the second one, too. Kind of had a little bit of a long look there at that call. Sadhu makes the free throw. And 1 out of 2, and Johnson grabs a rebound. So a 10-point lead here for Cooper. Johnson calling for that ball inside. Nice spin move and scores with the left hand. But she really shrugged Sadhu off with that good, strong spin move. She's not quite as long maybe as Sadhu, but definitely a strong body. There's Kamara attacking, no good. Sadhu kept it alive, but then the Islanders able to come up with it there. Starks is in a little trouble though. Gets it out to Johnson and she'll throw it ahead. And McNeil's layup is good. Kind of using a little Cooper's own medicine against them there, and they're back within 6. I'm sure DeLaSalle's thinking, we're a better team than what we showed in that first half, and
exactly.
They're coming out well. Blaylark with the steal there. Scott stepping in, no good. Sadhu grabs the board. And here comes Simmons ahead of the field, and she will have the layup. That's one thing that DeLaSalle has to be a little more concerned about. They've got let people get behind them more than they would like. And then now it happens the other direction.
Just went right the other way and did the same thing.
Taylor Starks getting that layup. Back to a 6-point game.
Coaches are saying that's great that you scored, but get back on defense.
Sadu will turn and shoot it, no good. Frazier was tripped up by Scott going after that rebound, and good sportsmanship there. Scott helping her up, obviously didn't mean to do that, but will be called for her second foul.
You know, that's something I've seen by both teams tonight, like 3 times already. A player goes down and both teams are helping him up, you know.
Frazier's pass tipped on the inbound. Turner Stensrud still gets it though. Frazier, who did not get to play much, got 2 early fouls, and they'll see if they can get her going a little bit offensively. Ooh, dangerous one, but it gets to Turner Stensrud on the run, wouldn't drop. Tip loose though, and Kamara dishing over to Frazier for the layup.
That was heads up by Kamara because it first looked like she was going to go and she saw her teammate there, and it was a smart heads up play to get her the ball.
8-point lead for Cooper. Lob inside, knocked away. It looked like it might be another layup there for Starks, but defense got back to break it up.
Kind of thought they maybe even had that outside shot there because they had people, it looked like they had people coming in to rebound too, but they got to do a better job of feeding the ball inside as far as DeLaSalle does.
Scott driving it into the middle of the D, too strong with it though, and here comes Kamara running it back. She'll go all the way for the layup. Good job of realizing that she had just a little bit of a lead on the defender and then got her body out front. And there's a steal by Kamara. Layup is good. Timeout DeLaSalle. Cooper now up by 12 as they turn up the screws defensively.
Just felt that momentum, and that's what their pressure on creates that. Their intensity.
Got a good look at why Kamara is so dangerous there. Gets the layup, and then they turn and get back into their press, and doesn't take long, and she's jumping in, picking off a pass, one dribble, layup good. And I think a very good timeout taken there by Coach Fawcett on the Islanders sideline there, just, you know, to break the momentum if nothing else.
Well, definitely, and it's like, you know, they got themselves back in, you know, so to speak, and just mental mistakes, just not taking care of the ball is what caused it, and now it's Cooper's got a pretty comfortable lead again.
I think one thing you'd like to see a little more of maybe is pass fakes, because Cooper is being very aggressive, jumping every pass they think that they see coming, and you try to use that against them a little bit. And we've said this in other games, it's easier said than done. When
yes.
You're playing against a team that is quick and long, can get their hands up, you know what you want to do, but actually executing it sometimes is easier said than done.
And you have a little more, granted, DeLaSalle's a young team, but that sometimes figures in, even though they've had all their experience, and you've got Cooper that's got some senior leadership out there and some kids that have played a lot at this level. So a little more calmness, a little more confidence.
Back across to Bass here. Scott flashing into the middle of that zone and knocks it down. That was a nice hoop.
And she has that potential to do that. She has an outside shot. She gets a mid-range. She can attack the bucket. There was patience that time on DeLaSalle's side.
Simmons keeping that dribble alive. Turner Stensrud tried to go back up to Simmons. It was deflected. Oops. And she was run over a little bit there as Starks will pick up that foul.
And there's another one of those fouls that looked kind of hard, but it was like not intentional, going for the ball, playing.
Turner Stensrud open from the corner, bounces around, won't drop.
They get an offensive board, though. Kamara bouncing it back, and Raheem Simmons going to use a timeout as he was seeing them get a little out of what they wanted to do there. Yeah, it's interesting. The first half fouls, mostly Cooper, now 3-0 Islanders. Here's a look at the standings here, and you see we got two teams up there with one loss, DeLaSalle and Holy Angels, and then Visitation Holy Angels are playing tonight. And Cooper right there, those top four, obviously any of them can still win the league, or we might end up with a tie. And Cooper actually lost to both Holy Angels and Visitation recently here. But then sometimes it's about matchups a little bit too. They've matched up pretty well with DeLaSalle. They beat them the first time and right now have a 10-point lead in the second meeting.
Yeah, I think that's very true what you're saying too, and they do match up pretty good with them, but you just see the more intensity here going with the Coopers right now, and DeLaSalle still trying to get into their flow of the game.
Frazier with it out high here, getting them into their set. Kamara chased back out. They've got Sadu on the bench. Oh, that one almost bounced in off the pass off Turner Stensrud's hand. Scott. Nice drive and dish, but then too long. Jordan Johnson, though, powering it back up. Nice rebound. And it's an 8-point lead here for Cooper. Simmons gets a pick. She'll pop a long two, and it's good. Zoe Simmons now with 7 points. Back to a 10-point lead, and they set up that pressure. And we'll get a foul call. Simmons will pick it up.
That one, I think she was a little too eager down there. They'd done a great job, and then she just got a little too eager.
Like you said, too, though, I mean, it's not like you ever want fouls, but if you're going to play the style of D that they do, you have to accept that that's going to happen occasionally.
Yes, exactly.
The coach said, you know, if you have a player that's going through a whole night with no fouls, it probably means they're not playing much defense, to be honest. And a putback try, no good, but a foul will send Islanders McNeil to the free throw, or Starks rather, to the free throw line. As McCarthy will pick up that foul. And the Islanders did not shoot well from the line in the first half at all. This is their first trip in the second. And gets that one to bounce in. And when you're talking about it, like halftime talk and adjustments, not a lot you can say about that, just, hey, make free throws. I mean, at this point, it's not strategy or anything like that.
No, you just got to say, you know what? Get to the line, just take a deep breath, relax, and put it up there. But you're right, there's no strategy to talk about. There's no big major change.
8-point game, Cooper leading at 38-30. They've been in the lead pretty much throughout. Turner Stensrud whipping it over to McCarthy. Simmons, now Frazier. Quickly rotated, and that leads to a baseline drive by Kamara, no good. Scott knocked it out of bounds. And I like they're not calling every, you know, if you drive and there might be a little contact here and there, they're not automatically giving the offensive player those calls.
No, there's been a lot of physicality going on in this game, and they're pretty much letting them play for the most part.
Frazier, a step back three, and it is good. And that's what they missed in the first half by having her in foul trouble. 11-point lead for Cooper. Ooh, knocked away. Whose foot did this hit? It's out off of Cooper. Another look at this one as Frazier gets her feet set and lets it rip.
That's fun to see. She did a good job, was patient, came off of that. And she said, finally. I
know, and sometimes when a player has to sit, it's hard to get back in rhythm when you get into that second half. She went down so early in the game with those two fouls. Briefly came back at the end of the first half, but good to see her ready to go for half two. Oh, a little short on the layup attempt there for Starks. And the jumper knocked down there by Nature able to knock that one down, her first field goal. And it's a 9-point game.
I think one of the things that Coach Fassett also probably talked about at halftime was their defense, having to step up, because their defense isn't the way that I think he was expecting it to start out in the first half. They've given Cooper a lot of good chances to drive.
Simmons just saving that one. Corner, Turner Stensrud no good, and McCarthy the rebound. Dropped it back off. Turner Stensrud had it blocked. Meister with a nice block. Here's Kamara, layup and a foul. She almost kind of thrives on contact, it seems like, driving to the hoop like that.
But you see her eyes as she made that drive and the look on her face, it was like you were just watching it and you knew she was going.
Went down hard, but gets the foul and one, and so Kamara to the free throw line here. And no good, knocked out of bounds by Seydoux. Seydoux was on the bench for a while, and when she checked out last time, Coach Simmons kind of got on her a little bit, and they had a little lively discussion. I think it was maybe about settling for those long jumpers.
I like what they do about putting Vanessa up on the point on their press too. Her wingspan, her quickness, huge advantage there.
Kamara for three, it's off. Seydoux though has the rebound, powers it back up, no good. And then we'll get a tie up. The ball will go DeLaSalle's way. Seydoux would like to have that one. And again, she turned and it was Scott on her, and obviously she's a lot taller than her, but missed the first one, and then it was kind of a big scramble to get it back. They throw a quick double on. Johnson had it slip through her hands, and Kamara up with it. So Cooper able to force turnovers in a variety of ways, too. Seydoux spins and then gets it out of there. Here's Frazier calling out a set. Seydoux tried to give it back to Frazier, but she ran into a defender, and so her cut was interrupted and the pass just sails out of bounds. Good reversal there as they get it to Scott. On the drive, no good. Putback opportunity is good though for Starks. But she was all alone and it looked like she might almost miss it. But
used all that rim.
Yep. 9-point lead for Cooper as a timeout's taken here. And these teams, same conference but not in the same class, as DeLaSalle is in Class 3A and ranked number 9 right now. And you see Benilde ranked number 1, Becker number 2, and then in yellow we've got Tri-Metro teams highlighted with Holy Angels, DeLaSalle, and Visitation. Cooper not in the top 10, but they are in the top 20 in Class 4A. And Cooper had much like Park Center, had a brief time of being in Class 3A and won a state title when they were in that class and made another tournament and then moved back up to 4A. And that same thing that happened with Park Center earlier. There's a look.
Yeah.
2018 state champs for Coach Kiara Buford and the Hawks. And I said, amazingly great timing for both Cooper and Park Center for when they were in 3A and when they had really their best teams.
You know, and it was a good chance to just, you know, because both teams had streaks where it was tough. It was tough to get going, and they finally had time and were able to climb up there and had some great experiences.
Here's Frazier, layup is good. Frazier making up for lost time.
That was a nice drive, nice control of the ball the whole way through.
Johnson missing the left-hand layup, and Frazier coming out of there with it. 11-point lead for Cooper. Frazier feeling it now. A little step back, and it's good. Look out, Bree Frazier on fire. biggest lead now, 48-34. Oh, Simmons didn't mean to do that, but ran into the Islanders playlock.
Oh, that was a pretty shot. She's just, you see her confidence just coming in. Just even watching, it's been fun from this angle just to see the looks on their faces as they're attacking, as they're making their shots, or making great defensive plays.
Crunch time here for the Islanders. They can't afford to trade baskets anymore. Down by 14. That one is way short. Simmons working it into the front court. A little hesitation dribble and goes to Seydoux. Good D by Johnson there. She really read that spin. Coach Simmons said foul, and I think it might have actually been, but the footwork was so good by Johnson that they gave her the benefit of the doubt. Now she is fouled by Seydoux.
Johnson likes that she did that, but she's going to golf. Just finish that shot, get to the free throw. But, you know, she did a great job. She's being patient in there, and I've seen her become stronger at her post moves.
Seydoux picking up her third. Free throw is good, so now 7 points for Johnson. Overall, though, Cooper's done a pretty good job on her, I think.
They have, you know, and they're all over her. A lot of times they have two people coming in at her when she gets the ball.
Cook coming in to be another big body up front to help try and slow Johnson a little bit. So it's a 12-point game. We're under 8 minutes to play now. Singleton over to Kamara. Turner Stensrud flipping it up and in with the left hand. Another good weapon for them. She has 7 points. Back to a 14-point game. And that runner won't drop, and then we're going to get a foul call on Johnson as she knocks Kamara down. Not to say DeLaSalle's out of time right yet, but it's starting to get where this deficit with this time, they don't have a lot of margin for error anymore.
No, they certainly don't. They need a few more of those baskets to drop. You know, they've attacked, they just haven't gotten them to drop.
Kamara pushing it up. Corner, Turner Stensrud. And they have to bring it back out to Frazier. Frazier splitting the D, no good, but was fouled. Boy, she's got a quick drive to the hoop there and kept herself in good balance there as she went between defenders there. Foul's going to go against Starks, number 10. Oh yeah, good call. Free throw bounces around and in. And looking at it from half to half, you say Cooper, even without Frazier, was able to build a 9-point halftime lead. Now that they got her back and really going in the second half, they've pulled away to lead by 15.
Just her quickness and her agility as she's attacking the bucket. And this pressure has slowed DeLaSalle down. Cooper's done a great job with their pressure.
Scott stepping up, no good. Nice offensive rebound now, and the putback is good by Maester. So a 14-point lead again, but under 7 minutes to play now.
If you're DeLaSalle, you need to figure out how to get some stops. You know, don't put them at the free throw line, but right now Cooper's been doing a great job of attacking and been able to get there.
Turner Stensrud with the floater. Nice touch. She has 9 points. Cooper up by 16 as Bass shooting off target there. Cook the rebound. Kamara into the front court. Frazier keeps that dribble going. Great feed over to Cook.
Great C. Great C. I mean, Cook was posted up there, and it's like they lost her in there, and great C for her to get her the ball.
And that's exactly the type of thing you'd like to do when you're protecting a big lead, too. Use some clock, but if an opening presents itself, you take that layup. Kamara driving, count it, and a foul. Cooper can do no wrong at the moment as they have blown this one open.
They really have. They're continuing to attack.
20-point lead here. I don't think you'd say it's a surprise that they're winning, but I wouldn't have said 20 points ahead at this point in the game probably. And that's, you know, just in respect to DeLaSalle, not disrespect to Cooper.
Right.
I think we're just bringing sub in there as a reason for the stop. Jordan Johnson was at the score table and they didn't. So Cooper up by 21, biggest lead of the game. Scott over to Bass for 3. That one's off. Jordan Johnson then missed it. Then the follow-up won't go. Boy, there's a lid on it. Scott looking into Johnson. She was pushed from behind there by Turner Stensrud. Cooper, that's another thing they've done well in this half, has limited the fouls a little more. They were into the double bonus by the end of the first half. That was their 5th right there.
They did, and they have still. It's almost like they needed to get settled in with all the fouls they're making for the style they were playing. Well, they're still playing that style. They're just getting a little smarter now, and they're not doing some of the other fouls that they had been doing.
Sadhu, a nice block out and rebound there, and she's going to try to go coast to coast. Sadhu scores and a foul. Cooper continuing to roll as they are looking to put DeLaSalle away here and get the sweep of the season series.
You know, the one thing about Sadhu is fun to watch is she plays a lot inside, she posts up, but there was another obvious advantage that she has of her skill set is she stole that ball, she handled it, she made a good move around people and finished. I always loved that when I could have my post that could bring the ball up and handle the ball that well and do things like that. Just gives you another huge advantage.
Inside to Johnson and was fouled by Sadhu. She broke away from her initially and then Sadhu reached in. It'll be her 4th. Not yet in the bonus though. That was team foul number 6. McCarthy back in, Sadhu checking out. And let's see, it'll be Cooper ball. Yeah, they tried that handoff and didn't connect. Simmons checking back in here for Cooper. Well, I thought the first half was pretty good for them, and they've been even much better in the second half, just kind of blowing DeLaSalle away now.
Well, you got those players back in the game that had been out early with foul trouble, and they just started finding their scoring niche. They started moving the ball.
Frazier will be called for the travel.
It's fun watching them look for each other and get the ball to each other.
Lynn Samuels, number 22, checking in for the first time here for the Islanders. Ooh, almost, it looked like maybe a double dribble there, but get it out.
Well, she was close to the sideline, too.
Yeah. Johnson was fouled as they dumped it into her, and reaching over the top was Pauline McCarthy. So now it will be 1-on-1 time here for the Islanders, but obviously going to be a little too late for them to realistically get back in this one now, as Cooper really putting the run together down the stretch. No good, and the Hawks come up with it. Here's Simmons. Tough one there. Tried to draw the foul, didn't get it. And Kamara hustling, but couldn't quite save it.
Oop, looks like she tweaked her ankle a little bit on that. Looks like she's okay, though.
Bass working her way into the front court here. Deflected and stolen. Frazier ahead to Kamara. Layup is good, and Cooper superb in this second half, and they lead 63-38. In and out there, Jordan Johnson, the rebound, missed it. Goes again, scores, and a foul.
You know, I like what Jordan did there when she got it, both times that she got her rebound. She still worked to use the backboard. She didn't just try up and over, you know, and that was an advantage because she didn't really have the best angle and position, but took advantage of the backboard.
Frazier will drive and dish. Simmons knocks down another. That's a three. And Coach Simmons, her dad, apparently is still says green light is on.
Yeah.
We're not just going to stall out the rest of the game. Drive and dish there, no good.
Just has not been a good shooting night for DeLaSalle at all, really. They've struggled with, you know, some shots that I'm sure that they've made before, and the intensity that Cooper has brought full court on defense has been huge.
Johnson the miss, and then I think she'll be called for the foul as Frazier grabbed that rebound. Number 4 on Jordan Johnson, so we'll come to the other end for 1-and-1 for Bree Frazier. Frazier did not score in the first half, and as we noted, barely played because she got 2 early fouls, but she has been outstanding in the second half. 12 points in the half already. And a chance to add more here at the free throw line. Missed it, but Seydoux keeping it alive. And then Johnson cleans it up. Bass trapped in the corner. Timeout granted to DeLaSalle. 2:46 to go, and Cooper is going to win their 15th game of the season. And as we said, really throw that Tri-Metro race into turmoil here.
Well, like you said earlier too, what a turnaround from last season. Just a whole different experience for the team, and
they got to really be happy with the way they've played here tonight too. I mean, a win is a win against a good team. You take it no matter how you get it, but they've played a pretty solid basketball game defensively in the first half, and then the offense really came alive some more here in the second.
yeah, and you know every coach talks about that. Your defense is gonna win you games, and the pressure they were applying for the full court, the half court, and then finally attacking. The more they started to attack, they were finishing. Their confidence, you just see it in their eyes as they were attacking the bucket. The confidence they had to go, and then they had teammates that they knew they were there to crash the boards for them.
Multiple scorers and shooters too. I mean, you look at a player like Turner Stenzer, not the first one that comes to mind when the scouting report, but she's made some nice buckets for them. And Frazier obviously been great in the second half, and Kamara is strong all the way through. Here's Johnson flipping it up with that little half hook, and she has started to get things going a little bit, but it's going to be too late for the Islanders. Way across court, Frazier's going to back it out of there. They keep it rotating. Turner Stenzer wide open, missed it, but there's Bree Frazier. She'll get it right back in the corner and let it fly, and hits another three. Tremendous half for Bree Frazier.
Oh, the effort she put in there, and, you know, found an opening to get out, came back out, and they sent it back to her, and she hit the shot.
Seydoux the rebound. She's all alone, but she's going to go all the way. No good, but fouled by Bass.
That's a heads-up play by Seydoux, though, because she's attacking, and And as she's coming down to get it, and Bass was technically running straight down, but Seydoux made the angle of the bucket and drew the foul.
Misses the free throw, one more coming. Cooper will make a couple of subs here. Trinity Clark, number 33, checking in for the first time. Also Davison, another senior, reporting back in here. Missed them both. And that pass slipping away there as Nirvana Krocek, number 5, is in there for the Islanders. Had that one slip through her hands. Lyric Singleton back in for Cooper as Seydoux will check out. Coach Simmons starting to get more in. I think in a game like this, you're kind of surprised that you're this far ahead against DeLaSalle too. So you're, maybe not as quick to go to the bench because you don't trust that for sure it's a win yet or whatever.
Well, right, they're a good opponent. This is an off night for DeLaSalle, and your team has put it all together. But it's kind of like, you know what they have, you know what their potentials are, but. Yeah, I think it's a little late right now, unfortunately, for the DeLaSalle team. But the Hawks have just played a great ball on both sides of the floor.
Underneath, and shot passed up. And a try there wouldn't go for Hegstad for Cooper, and also Ava Howard is in there for the Hawks, number 11. Baseline, that'll be a travel. Under a minute to play now. Cooper blowing this one open in the second half. They were up 9 at halftime.
Yeah, it took both teams a while to get going and to even score a bucket in the beginning. We went several minutes without, and then Cooper just kind of steadily kept pulling away. It was with a 9-point lead at half, but got all their guns back in the second half, and they were hitting.
Boy, and you think of that very briefly. DeLaSalle made a little run and got within 6, but Cooper instantly put it back up to 12, and it felt like that, in hindsight, that was kind of the game right there.
I agree. I think what happened there is that, like you said, they got within 6, and Cooper picked their intensity on defense up and then started attacking the bucket more than they had.
Johnson missing the free throw. And this isn't what won or lost DeLaSalle the game, but obviously free throws have not been a strength of theirs tonight.
No, and making those free throws at certain crucial times kind of also keeps you in the game, and they've struggled. Ooh, nice shot.
Johnson will knock it down. In theory, a free throw would be easier than the shots you ended up making, but sometimes you get in a little better rhythm when you're taking a shot in live play. And that'll be a turnover here on Cooper. Just 12 seconds remaining, though. And the Hawks, as we said, are going to win their 15th game of the year. And I would say this has got to be maybe the most satisfying of those 15.
Oh, I would think so.
Right up there, anyway.
Yep. Against a tough conference opponent, you both are fighting for the same thing. It's going to be interesting to see how this works out, and especially with the other game tonight. There's still several games to be played, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this conference shapes out.
I like it when conference play still matters, too, when there's a good race for the conference title. I mean, obviously, that shot is up, and let's see, did they count it? No good. No good at the end. So Cooper will win it 69 to
48. They did count it.
They
Yep.
did count it?
Yep.
Yeah. I thought I saw one official. Oh, now it looks like they're conferring and saying no basket at the end.
We appreciate you being here tonight. Final score, Robbinsdale Cooper Hawks 69, and the Islanders from DeLaSalle 48. Everyone, please be careful exiting the stands.
So that'll do it for our broadcast here tonight. A huge win for Cooper as they get it done with a great second half here. Hope you've enjoyed the action here tonight from Cooper High School. The Hawks over DeLaSalle to get the season sweep.